Hello, beautiful people. Today is 1st of September. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. But before that, guys, in today's GS folder, we'll take a very impactful quote given by the Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra. He had talked about the notion of patriarchy as how such notion has shrank the space for the women in all walks of life. He says, in the theater of life, it seems man has put the autograph and there is no space for a woman even to put her signature. Now, this particular thing happens to be true not only into Indian society but into the entire world. If you'll see into the corporate sector or into the employment, there are the notions such as a glass ceiling, that is, women can't go above a particular level. Then there are gender pay gap disparities. Then there are notions such as women have some feminine qualities, men has certain masculine qualities, and always women are not desirable into some spheres of life. Now guys, all these things shows that how the space for the women has been shranked and they have just been sidelined and their contributions and their efforts are not being recognized. So guys, into our GS paper number 1, into the topics of society, you can use this particular quote, as well as in GS paper number 2 into the women related questions also you can use it. Moreover, many a times essay onto the women has also been asked, so there this particular thing can also find much utility. So that's it, and now let's take the newspaper analysis. Now guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper first. Now this particular article talks about the aggression again shown by China into the Pangong Tso. Now guys, in this particular respect, there are certain key terms which we can use to define the India-China relation. So guys, with respect to the GS2, we'll see them. Then guys, here we can see that the GDP had contracted to historically low levels, and this is the first time into the Indian history after independence that such thing has happened. So in this particular respect, we will analyze this thing. Then guys, the contempt of court, that issue which we had discussed on that particular thing, Supreme Court had imposed a fine. So the implications of such thing we'll see along with the editorial. Then guys, the same China issues is going on. Now guys, here we can see that the Facebook, the social media giant, has been accused that it is also the party into the riots that had happened because they simply didn't acted into the instances of the hate speech that were propagated. So that are the lapses. So guys, just if in a GS paper number 1 or GS2 the social media's role is being asked, so just as a one-liner concept we can mention as a passing reference that there are also the evil or dark sides of the social media also. So that's it. Now moving next. Now guys, the advertisements not important for our exam. So there are large advertisements today into the newspaper. Then guys, directly we'll be moving up to the editorial page. Now this particular editorial talks about the contempt of court issue. So guys, very briefly we'll see the new issues which has came here. Then guys, the GST reform has been mentioned into this particular article, which could be important for the GS paper number 3. Then this article talks about as how environmental destruction has happened across all the governments. Now guys, this article has some of the political inclinations which are not important for our exam. So guys, briefly only the content with respect to the exam will be seeing here. Then guys, this article talks about the unlock 4 which has been started. Guys, not important for our exam. Then moving forward, this particular article talks about the Congress party as how the crisis into the leadership is going on. Then guys, this article is also talking about the Congress party, not at all important for our exam. Then moving forward, here we can see that a rare Chola inscription has been unearthed. So in that direction we'll see the issues. Then moving forward, so this entire page is filled with the obituary to the statesman Pranab Mukherjee, who had passed away. So he was the former president, the finance minister, and a person of extraordinary caliber. So guys, however, you don't need to see the events associated with his life because the contemporary political leaders have not been asked into the UPSC exam. Then moving forward, here we can see that the India-China equilibrium has been mentioned. We'll take it with the China article. Then guys, moving forward, here we can see that the merit-based immigration system for the India has been talked about. So we'll see that where it will be important. And then showcase page, not important for our exam. Then guys, world page. If you remember, just few days back we had seen the entire Israel UAE deal which has happened. So on that particular line, the first commercial flight between the Israel and Abu Dhabi had also started. However guys, don't need to go into the detail of this article. Then onto the business page, we can see that the Reserve Bank of India will further be taking up the liquidity measures to absorb the losses which has been posed to absorb the contracting GDP. Then guys, now next page is the sports page. Nothing important has been given here. So that's it. And now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now friends, taking up the first news. So this particular news is important for our GS paper number 3 economy, as well as some basic information with respect to the prelims also we'll see here. Now, for the first time into the history of independent India, the GDP estimates at such low levels have been seen. Now guys, before going into this particular news, first of all, some basic information. Now as we are talking about GDP, who releases GDP data in India? So it is released by the National Statistical Office, which is under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And here one more thing guys, you might read at many places that GDP's data is given by the CSO. But what has happened? CSO and NSSO, both organizations have been merged under the NSO. But still, CSO and NSSO are also operating as a distinct offices. So the most perfect one is NSO. But still, if CSO comes, you can write it. You can mark it as an option. There will be no problem. Now, guys. So NSO releases the GDP. Now, as we talking about GDP, what is GDP? GDP is nothing but the total monetary value of all goods and services that are produced in a country in a specific period, that is one financial year most of the times. Now guys, when we talk about GDP, we compare the GDP with a base year. For example, right now the base year is 2011 and 12. Into that particular year, what was the production? If it was 100 rupees and today if it is 110, we'll say that GDP has increased by 10%. However, guys, there is also account of inflation that we also consider. Then there are the real GDP, nominal GDP. Those depends on to the factoring of inflation. However, we'll not go that much into that detail. Otherwise, we'll deviate from our topic. So this is inflation released by the NSO. In 1 year, there are 4 quarters. So what we have quarterly GDP estimates and then we have annual GDP estimates. Now the data for the first quarter has came. So now we are seeing the estimation of the quarter 1. Now into this particular quarter, it has been seen that the GDP has contracted by 23.9%. So our GDP is minus 23.9%, which is worst into the history of India since independence. Now, what is the reason which is being cited here? The reason is the lockdown, because the economic activities were virtually shut down. However, guys, if you see here the data for all the quarters, then you can see that not only this is the impact of the GDP, but since if you'll see from the 2018, the GDP is constantly falling and now it has reached to a negative trajectory. So lockdown would have been the reason, but earlier also the prospects of economy were not that good. Now guys, talking about the GDP. So how and why GDP has came such a low at such a low level, we'll break down this particular thing. So if we see the GDP, then GDP is made up of certain components. There are 4 major components. One is the private final consumption expenditure. Okay, whatever expenditure everybody is doing onto the final goods, if we'll calculate that, we will get the private final consumption expenditure. Guys, to calculate GDP, there are various methods. Here we are talking about one of the method, that is the expenditure method. However, no need to go too much into the detail. So first is private final consumption expenditure done by you, me, everybody. Then the government final consumption expenditure. Government is also doing that such kind of expenditure. Then there is investment being made by the government as well as private entities. And then there are the net exports. Net exports means the export minus imports. Okay, so when we calculate this all, we'll get the GDP of our country. Guys, just a thing, please don't get confused how by calculating the expenditure will calculate the GDP, because just think, what is GDP? GDP is the total value of all goods and services. Okay, so if everybody's expenditure will take So obviously that expenditure would have been made on acquisition of goods and services only. So automatically that value will be derived by seeing everybody's expenditure. Now, as the lockdown was going on, economic prospects were not there. Into all these components, what has happened? See, private final consumption expenditure has declined to 26.7%. People lost their jobs, business were shut, there were complete lockdowns. So neither people had an opportunity to spend, nor they had money to spend. Moreover, the entire savings of the people have been lost. And even into the times to come, people will just be spending into the essential kind of consumption. So this particular component will be depressed for pretty long period of time. Moreover, into this entire GDP, the 60% of the component is by the private final consumption expenditure. And as there is no signs of recovery into the near future, it is said that coming out of this particular negative trajectory will be very difficult. Then, going to the third, not second, first of all, we'll go to the third. Third is about the investment. So investment in a country is done when there is a hope that the return on investment will be positive. But right now the businesses are shut. Moreover, if you remember, I had shown you that since last 2-3 years, the constantly GDP is going down. So return on investment is not sounding good. Therefore, investment has also not been there. Private will not be doing because profit is not there. Government can't do simply because government has to meet the fiscal consolidation. Then export and imports, if we talk about, so here also there is a decline of 20% because the lockdown. Now when we talk about the government final consumption expenditure, this particular component has actually increased by 16.4%. Why? Because so much expenditure government is doing in procuring the essential goods, in doing basically for dispersal, PP suits are being procured, testing laboratories are being installed, and all these kind of things are done. Health sector expenditure, because of this, it has increased. But as I told you, that major chunk is by the private. So what can be done? You need to enhance private, and for that thing you need to do two things. Number one, give huge fiscal stimulus. Okay, so as I'm talking about huge fiscal stimulus, you need to put money directly into the hand of the public so that they can spend that money. In this particular direction, the idea of universal basic income, this thing should be brought right now. And if you remember, just few days back, I had discussed one article where I have talked about the fiscal stimulus. I had talked that how USA is giving the fiscal stimulus amounting to nearly $2.2 trillion, and India's fiscal stimulus is very much less. Secondly, what you need to do, government itself need to spend a lot of money, need to pump a lot of money into the economy so that that money goes into the hand of people and then aggregate demand can be raised. Now guys, as such lockdown is as such kind of growth prospects have been seen, Reserve Bank of India had also decided to take certain steps. First of all, the Reserve Bank of India had said that they will be infusing liquidity into the system so that money goes into the hand of the people. They had said that they will be initiating the open market operation. Now open market operation is such when the Reserve Bank of India either it buys the government security or it sells the government security. When it will buy the government security, the money will be given to the bank. Bank will give that money further to the people. Okay, and the vice versa can also be done. It has to be seen onto the basis of the requirement that is into the present times. Then new repo operations will be carried. Now repo rate is the interest rate at which the Reserve Bank of India gives money to the bank. Now what has happened? If you are following regularly, the government started the long-term repo operations. Sorry, the RBI started the long-term repo operations, under which for the long duration the money was given to the banks at the cheaper interest rate. Now what has happened? The repo rate has went even more down than the time when the LTRO was given. Now RBI is giving an option to the bank that you do one thing, give us the money that you have taken under the LTRO. Now we will renew that thing, and even at the cheaper now prevailing repo rate, we will give you the long-term rates. So this particular thing will also give more money to the banks so that banks can give cheaper loan to the public. Then what has happened? The held to mature securities under the SLR has been reduced to 22% or limited to 22%. Now, what are these held to maturity securities? If you remember, or if you know the basics of the economy, a specific portion of the money that bank has received into the deposits, net time and deposit liabilities that the bank have, they need to keep a part of the money into the SLR. SLR means the statutory liquid ratio. It means that some part of money you have to block into the government securities. Now, H2 held to maturity means that some government securities you need to mandatorily keep until they will mature. If maturity is after 10 years, till 10 year you cannot sell. So that limit earlier was 25%, now it has been reduced to 22%, so that banks are not in obligation to hold the securities for a very long period of time. Okay, so all these things have been done into this particular direction. Guys, apart from this particular news, a large number of concepts we had seen. Please try to utilize these concepts into solving the answers, because now the economic questions are only coming onto the conceptual basis. That kind of basically factual information related questions are not coming that much. So that's all about this particular news. Now we'll move to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the new wave of confrontation which has started between India and China. Now, here we are not actually concerned with this particular infiltration which has occurred, but some of the new kind of terminologies have been used into these articles, particularly the article by the S. Jaishankar. So, into our GS paper number 2, IR related question, if it comes onto the China, so you can utilize the stuff from here. This is basic intention. Now, first of all, I'll tell you what has happened. So, guys, a large confrontation into the Ladakh has occurred into the past few days. If you'll see here onto the screen, this is the map of the region around the LAC and the Pangong Tso Lake. So, if you please pay attention here. So, this is the Pangong Tso Lake, and here the LAC is going on. So there are two conflicting claims onto the LAC. China says that this finger 4 region, here till here, from here their LAC passes. India says that LAC actually passes from here, that is finger number 8. Now, guys, earlier China they used to limit themselves up to the finger number 8, but since that this new confrontation have begun, they have came up to the finger number 4. Okay, this has happened. Now, kind of negotiations or a kind of a confidence building measures are going on between India and China to resolve this conflict, so that the status quo, the positions which were before the March, those things could be restored. Now, these things are not cleared. What has happened? China had again tried to infiltrate into the Indian territory. Now, guys, what India had done, India had also reverted back, and India they had basically tried to basically make a strong control onto the Rakala Pass. Now, Rakala Pass, this is the blue point I'm making here. So this is a point where is a Rakala Pass. Now, Rakala Pass is right now under the stronghold of China. China is very much infuriated with this particular thing. China had said that what India is doing, India is following the quid pro quo strategy. Now, India had not publicly accepted that this is the quid pro quo strategy, but many a times earlier such thing has been floated. What is this quid pro quo strategy? It has been said that China had shown a particular kind of behavior. All the time what it does, it enters into some part of Indian territory. What we should do, we should also go and hold a strategic position into some territory where China already had the position, and this new territory we can use as a bargaining chip, and as a quid pro quo we can ask China that you go back from there and we will come back from our own position. So into this particular light, there towards the Rakala Pass, it has been said that India has tried to make a strong hold, which China has now accused that India is illegally entering into the territory. Is it clear? So this is the entire thing which has happened. However, for your exam point of view, you don't need to go into such kind of nitty-gritties, but being a kind of an aware aspirant, you should know that these things are happening. So this is one of the quid pro quo offensive which is being talked about. Now, guys, with this, however, the ultimate way will only be the diplomatic way out. That is the only thing you need to write into your solution. And into the diplomatic way out, it has been said that the vivendi should be finalized between the India and China. The modus vivendi, it means that agreement to coexist. Now it has been said that right now we are, that is China and India, into a very tight geography. Side by side, billion plus strong nations are living. Both have the aspirations, both have a kind of a demography, both are the emerging powers. And when both powers will emerge, an intimidation will come. This, that is natural, but we need to understand that such intimidation should not escalate into a conflict. Okay, so this particular is a very matured thing which has to be kept in mind by both the countries. After that, guys, as these series of confrontation is going on, it has been asked that will India look again to the US because of this particular thing? So for that particular thing, a very balanced reply has been given by the S Jaishankar. He had said that the India US relations are very deep. They are not only centered onto one country, that is the Sinophobia. They are much more deep. So it is a very good reply. At one hand, we had taken care of China also, and at the other hand, we had also pacified the US also by this particular thing. Then third thing is that it has been asked that into this particular aftermath, will India sign more pacts, more military agreements? For example, the militarization of Quad is going on. We had seen pretty number of articles on this thing. Now in this thing, it has now here nothing has been said. But if you remember, we discussed an article onto the strategic autonomy, whereas Jaishankar had said that now India will not be going for the non-alignment, nor we are going for the alignment, rather will hold the strategic autonomy. What is the strategic autonomy? In our own self-interest, if it will be desirable, will form the alignment. If it is not desirable, will not form the alignment. But some specified stand will not be there. So the strategic autonomy is coming repeatedly. So in the times of fact, we can't say anything. We will follow the strategic autonomy. But one thing is very sure, and on that thing also we had seen the article, that now China has to be dealt under the light of the realism. Realism means that the countries will have the competition and conflict. It is against the idealism. Idealism means that between two countries always cooperation will be there. So now idealism will not be there, realism will be there with respect to the China, seeing the repeated attempts that China has made onto the sovereign territory of India. So guys, these are the broader understandings that you should have into your mind. So that's it about this article. Now we'll move to the next article. Now guys, this particular article talks about the GST issue which is going on. First of all, many times we had taken this GST issue, but why this article today is different? Because it is giving a kind of a reform which could be taken, and in GS paper number 3, where the taxation and public finance policy has been mentioned, there could, if a question will come, then probably it will be asking you the reforms. Now guys, taking up the article, first of all, please don't curse me. I will give you again a brief background of in 30 seconds, because from there only logically we can start. So whenever we talk about GST, the 101 Constitutional Amendment Act comes from where the GST came. It was assumed as a single tax. So the state level taxes such as the sundry taxes and other taxes, they were subsumed here, as well as the center level taxes were also subsumed. When the taxes were subsumed, at that point of time, the center gave an assurance to the state governments that you don't worry, whatever revenue you were earning earlier, we will give you that revenue, we will transfer you that, compensate that revenue. Moreover, we will also give a 14% increment. States were satisfied. Why? They were actually not satisfied, they were very happy, because such 14% increment, it was very huge. Okay, they had taken that particular thing. It was said that with the coming of GST, the cascading effect will be reduced, that is the tax on tax. Okay, then the frictionless movement will be there of the goods from one state to another. Then it will said that our tax structure is very messy. We will move towards a simpler kind of tax structure, so everybody will be happy. The system started. Now, as the pandemic started, center used the provision of a force majeure. Force majeure. Now, guys, might you not be remembering, but very long back, I had taken a discussion on one of the editorial, probably into the month of May or June, or maybe April also, where I had told you that in all the contract act, okay, wherever two parties are into the contract, there is a provision of the force majeure where it has been said that there could be certain forces which are not in our control. So in that event, the contract can stand nullified. And under the force majeure, there is act of God. So under act of God, the contract can stand nullified. So now center government had said that we can't give compensation to the state because the act of God has been committed. But it is not ethical and it is wrong on certain points. First of all, center government has more capacity than the state to raise the money. They can issue the sovereign bond into Indian currency, into the dollar, in other currency. They can raise money more easily. Secondly, even they can take the money, center government, onto the guarantee of the PSUs. Then, even from the RBI, the center government can borrow money. States don't have such much option, so therefore, right now the center should come in between. Secondly, it has been said that the interest rates also are very lower for the center government. Therefore, center has the big responsibility that it should help. Then it has been said that, guys, the center government had said that what center government has done, that we will not give you money, states, you raise your money, okay. And the reasons that center can't raise, they had said that if we will raise, our debt will increase, and if our debt will increase, then the credit rating agencies will downgrade our credit rating. And this particular thing will bring the structural problems. How structural problems? Because our rating, if they will go down, our interest rates, nobody will trust us. So we have to give more interest rates. And that particular thing will bring new set of problems. But into the article, it has been said that credit rating agencies actually don't bother that the loan has been taken by the center or by the states. They see the cumulative loan of the entire country. So the excuse that you are giving, it is wrong and nullified. So this particular excuse we had also seen into one of our article. And then it has been said that moreover, macroeconomic stabilization is the job of the center. This is the problem of macroeconomic stabilization. States have to spend, but they don't have money. So it is your responsibility that you have to do something. Then, guys, it has been said that onto the ethical grounds, onto the grounds of federalism, the promise has to be kept. Kautilya said this thing that basically trust is a two-way road. Okay, you have to show the trust if you want to get the trust. Earlier, you had taken the trust from the state government, but you are not showing the trust. So, into the future, it will set a bad precedence, and never the federal units, the state will be trusting the center, and this thing will not be good. So, on all these things, center should give money. However, right now, as money can't be given, so we had said certain reforms could be suggested. It has been said that we should learn from the Australia. Australia has also implemented the GST, but why? How their GST structure is different? See, first of all, we had made different slabs. There is a slab of 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Australia has not made such large number of slabs. They had kept only one tax rate, that is the tax rate of 10%. Okay, what India can do? India can also keep one tax rate, that is at the 12%. How we'll do that particular thing? For that thing, you had to include other items also which have not been included into the GST. For example, the excise duty or the excise duty onto the petroleum products, it has not been included into the GST. Then the VAT onto the petrol has not included into the GST. After that, the taxes on the consumption of the liquor for consumption, it has not been included. Registration taxes onto the cars have not been included. Electricity tax. So these are the taxes which has not been included into the GST. So if you include, what will happen? By this virtue, a large number of money will come, and by that particular thing, for every items, for all the items, you can keep one tax rate, that is 12%, because by bringing more items, your tax base will automatically be enhanced. So this particular thing will even be good for the consumers. How? They need to pay a less number of tax, goods will become cheaper, and they will raise more demand. So this will be a win-win for everybody. So such kind of reform, a single rate, bringing more items, needed to be considered. But guys, what happened? There are large number of items which you have already taken from the state, and now you are saying that give us more. So states government will completely lose their autonomy. So in this direction, it has been said that to pacify the state government, to keep them also into the confidence, you do one thing, that give a power to the state government that they can also levy a specific cess. Cess is a tax on tax. So a specific cess they can levy onto some of the sin goods, for example, tobacco, alcohol, and all such kind of aerated drinks, all such kind of things, because this thing will be good on to the health concerns also. Moreover, state government will still have some power of levying the raising the revenue. So this particular thing will be done. Moreover, guys, it has also been said that the concept of revenue neutral rate, which you are talking since the last 4 or 5 years, that is something wrong. What is first of all this revenue neutral rate? It has been said that the GST's tax rate will be such that there should be no loss of revenue. For example, before GST, if we were receiving 100 rupees, after GST also 100 rupees should be received. Such kind of tax rates need to be levied. But it has been said that what will be the revenue into the future, you can't anticipate, because it depends on to the large number of factors. Now the pandemic came, the kind of revenue will automatically be will be less. So such revenue neutral rate can't be decided. It depends on large number of factors. So abandon this revenue neutral rate concept, because into the future you will not be able to maintain it, and again there will be some problems. State will again accuse you that you are not fulfilling your promise. Then third thing has been said that the local bodies need to give a specific allocation now from the GST. So if 12% GST is being imposed, then out of this 12%, at least 2% should be given to the local bodies, that is the panchayat and municipalities. Moreover, to which municipality, to which panchayat, how much is to be given, actually that thing will be told by the State Finance Commission. It will guide it. Why we need to give them also? Because it has been said that majority of people are being directly governed by the municipalities and by the panchayats, but many times they don't have the proper revenue. Therefore many times there are the genuine development is not coming. So on them also we need to focus. Then guys, finally, a large number of structural problems are also there in GDP. For example, the e-way bill is has to be furnished or has to be given to the truck driver when he will be taking goods from one state to another state. So into the e-way bill there are large number of problems. Then into the tax filing, there are large number of problems. Then basically input, when the merchants they file for the input, then there are many kind of glitches, the technical errors. So such kind of structural problems are also needed to be rectified. So in this particular thing, a comprehensive GST reform it will be brought, then we can solve this particular crisis. So guys, that's all about this particular news. Now we'll move to the next article. Now friends, this particular article talks about the contempt of court issue that was going on. Into the contempt of court issue, large number of things happened. We have traced them all with respect to our exam. Now guys, if I give you just a very brief snapshot so that we are on to the same page, we know that the lawyer Prashant Bhushan, he made a tweet with respect to the conduct of the Chief Justice of India. Okay, he alleged that he has some political connections, such kind of things were said, and even earlier also he had made such tweets. Because of this particular thing, he was charged with the contempt of court under article number 129, where the Supreme Court has been given power that he can punish somebody for the contempt, along with the Contempt of Court Act 1971, where two type of contempt has been mentioned, that is the civil contempt as well as the criminal contempt. So criminal contempt was levied onto the Prashant Bhushan. Supreme Court heard the matter, found Prashant Bhushan guilty, and said that we will announce a punishment. But the matter was so much aggravated, so much of intellectuals, so much of the media, and actually not the mainstream media, because they don't have time to show news apart from the Sushant Singh and Mandir controversy. So going apart. So apart from that media, other print medias, they have covered this particular matter extensively. Supreme Court found themselves into a kind of a sticky situation. That's what the article says. Okay. So that thing happened. Now Supreme Court gave a kind of a way out also to the Prashant Bhushan, that you gave an unconditional apology and we will let you go. Okay, so that thing was said, but Prashant Bhushan said that I am respectable of the judiciary, but at that same time, I also need to hear to my voice of conscience. Therefore, I will not be giving a apology because I have not done something wrong. Now, guys, therefore, what has actually now happened? Now, the punishment of rupee 1 has been levied, that you have to give a fine of rupee 1, and if you fail to give this 1 rupee fine, then there will be 3 months of jail, as well as there will be 3 years of suspension of your license also to practice the law. Now, there is a kind of a message into this particular thing. First of all, why rupee 1? Because Supreme Court wanted to take a way out from this particular matter, but at the same time they also wanted to give a very strong message. They also want to show a symbolism that whatever decision we had taken, we also stand on to that particular decision. But guys, at the same time, if 1 rupee fine is not given, you can see that such severe penalties have been listed. Why so severe? Just to show that actually contempt is a very draconian or a very kind of a serious kind of offense. So such kind of message is being given. However, guys, it has been said that anyhow, even if 1 rupee fine has been levied, this shows a kind of a dark side. Why? Because entertaining somebody's speech as a contempt is not appreciable, and most of the countries, even the UK from where we had borrowed this contempt, has abolished the criminal contempt. So practicing is not in a good light. So guys, that's it. However, please don't refrain any kind of remark against the judiciary, because that thing will not be fetching you marks, because being a bureaucrat, you can't have such kind of radical views. So into the exam, please practice that kind of balance into your answers. So that's all about this particular article. Now we'll move to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it talks about the environmental damage that has happened in India. Now first of all, see, this article is written by Jayanti Natarajan. What happened? Jayanti Natarajan was earlier, she was the Union Environment Minister, and she is also an environment activist. Okay. Now, some days back, Sonia Gandhi, she wrote an article and alleged that the present government had just kind of they had demolished all kind of environment protection structures in India, and they are going into a spree to destroy the environment. This particular article is a kind of a response to that thing. Particularly, the article says that both the governments have done for the destruction of environment, but the Congress was also not different. Specifically, it is a kind of a reply to Sonia Gandhi also. So guys, political inclinations are there into this article. We clearly don't want for our exam. So therefore, only some specific important things which could be relevant for our exam will see that thing. Now, first of all, it has been said that environment is constantly going under the spree of destruction. In this particular direction, if we see the Environment Performance Index, which is released by 4 institutions, one is the Yale University and the Columbia University of US, and then the World Economic Forum and the European Commission. So according to this particular EPI, the rank of India has been declined consistently into last few years. In 2006 till 2018, we can see from 118 to 177 we had reached, and both the government have ruled into this period of time. So constantly this environmental degradation is going on. Now guys, it has been said that the earlier government was also equally responsible, because right now present government is destroying the environment into the name of promoting the ease of doing business. Earlier government also, in that kind of attempt, they have made a group of ministers as well as a special monitoring cell to give the fast track clearances. Okay, so to enhance the ease of doing business. So nothing different is going on. Moreover guys, it has been said that government had failed to curb the winter pollution, which happens particularly into the North India. So for that particular thing, it has been said that winter pollution is not actually the problem of 1 or 2 government, it is rather a federal problem in India. How federal problem? Center has some other agenda, state has some other agenda. Because both are not able to meet the respective agendas of each other, the problem is occurring. State has the farmer as their lobby for the vote bank, so they don't want to serve some serious action to the some serious kind of they don't want to give a message to the farmers. Central government wants to control the pollution. Okay, so a kind of a symphony is not coming into both of them, therefore there is a problem. Then it has been said that the tribal people, Adivasis' rights have also been destroyed. But again, that particular thing has been said that the Adivasi rights are being destroyed simply because the FRA is not being implemented properly, and that was the problem in 2008 also and 2016 also. So guys, this is the kind of a thing. Much substance has not been there, but a kind of a perspective that environment, irrespective of the government, has been depleted. So guys, just to build a kind of an opinion, this thing was there. So that's it. Now we'll move to the next article. Now guys, this particular article is very important with respect to the prelims, GS paper number 1, art and culture. Now, one specific inscription has been found. What inscription? Renati Chola inscription. Now guys, just some brief background. See, Cholas, first of all, Chera, Cholas and Pandyas. Okay, these are the three most influential dynasties which have ruled into the South India. And particularly if we talk about the Cholas, then Cholas are one of the longest dynasty, not only of India but of the world. From their coming to their total disintegration, there was a long period of time. And because they served for such long period, there were large number of branches of the Cholas which were ruling, some into the Tamil Nadu, some into the Andhra Pradesh. So the Cholas ruling into the Andhra Pradesh, the region of Andhra Pradesh, they were called as the Telugu Cholas. Within the Telugu Cholas, there were the different branches, and within Telugu Cholas, one of the most important one were the Renati Cholas. Is it clear or not? Now, the Renati Cholas, they ruled into the region, present region of the Kadapa, okay, Kadapa district. So, there they had ruled. Now, into the excavations, what has happened? An inscription has been unearthed which belonged to the Renati Chola rulers. Now, this inscription is written into the Telugu language, and it is from the 8th century AD and was most probably commissioned by the Chola Maharaja Renadu. Is it clear? So this particular inscription has been unearthed. Then guys, this particular inscription mentions the land gift that and the 6 martu. Now martu is the unit of the land. So earlier questions on such line has been asked in UPSC. For example, UPSC gave a terminology that pattas for what they have been used. So martus, they are the units for the land. So guys, such a thing has been registered into such inscription. Now guys, an important part of this inscription is that the moral principles have also been written here. What is the moral principle? In inscription, it is written very clearly that if you will preserve this inscription, if you will safeguard this inscription, you will be going towards a kind of a heaven. Okay, and if you will be destroying it, then you will be facing the repercussions for that particular thing. So such a thing has also been given into this particular thing. So guys, this particular aspect you need to keep in your mind. So that's it. Now we'll move to the next article. Now guys, here's a brief article where the present vice president of USA, okay, Mike Pence, he had talked about the immigration. Now, into the past, we had seen that the US had imposed large number of sanctions onto the immigration. H-1B visa were suspended for some time, then the L-1 visa were suspended, F-1 visa, M-1 visa. A large number of problems were there. Now, it has been said by the US Vice President that we'll be starting a merit-based immigration system. Now, merit-based immigration system that only deserving candidates will be giving the opportunity to into the USA. This particular thing is directly being done because there are large number of voters in US who are of Indian origin. And as H-1B visa were suspended, the huge impact were on to the Indians. Now, first of all, H-1B visas, these visas are given to the people who have high order skills. So, to hire the foreigners for some specific high quality skills, such visas are given. Now, Indian software engineers or Indian professionals received the major chunk of these H-1B visas, and when they were suspended, huge impact was there onto the Indians. So it has been said that such thing will be giving a kind of a a new confidence to Indians, and it will make India US partnership even more special. It has also been said that India is not also only an economic partner, it is also a strategic partner. It has been said that India will help USA to secure the freedom of the Indo-Pacific, and therefore India is not to be infuriated on any matter, and therefore to solve this immigration issue, the merit-based immigration system will be installed so that the regime can be made much more accommodative. So guys, this is the thing. So as the India US relations are very important, there is one very in every country's relation there are certain irritants and there are certain converging points. In India US relations, the irritant is the immigration visa issue. So in that particular thing, we can give this as a reference. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the question section. Now friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. Question number 1 is with respect to the RCEP. Please read the statement and identify the correct option. Now guys, question number 2 is with respect to the subcategorization of backward classes which has been mentioned. So please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 3 is with respect to the Channa Patana toys which we had seen into the news. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now question number 4 is with respect to the Global Competitive Report and Index. Please identify that who publishes it. Now guys, the main question for today. This particular question is from GS paper number 3 and it is a 15 marker question. Now question says that the present controversy between center and states with respect to the GDP compensation has just ignited the urgent need of reforms in GDP. Suggest as on what lines such changes could be made. So guys, please try to identify the different dimensions which have involved here. So friends, that's it. I hope you are liking the discussion. Thank you so much.